Best move I ever made. All them wires and everything. And Jesus. Not for me.
See, I gotta start this one.
What time is it?
We've got a little bit of time, 5 minutes. Okay, let's see here.
Can't wait to,
What?
so I can't wait to get the part for that bike at General.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be cool.
Yeah, because then they start figuring out how it's going to go. You know,
Yeah,
Brian Bennett is going to send me red stickers.
that's cool.
Yeah, he makes them, I guess.
Okay, do you want to come sit down? Okay.
Which one are we on?
Both. But this will be the main one right here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry.
I don't think cursing matters. Okay, we're gonna FaceTime Mike. Get him hooked up and then we'll start the live stream.
Man, this is like juggling, huh?
Kind of.
I'll just sit here and look stupid while you do all that.
How do you look stupid?
Look at that, I'm not doing anything. I just sit here.
You're the talent. Patrick could be here in a minute. He timed it so he could walk in right when everything's getting started. All right.
You gotta show that video of him playing guitar, man. That's amazing.
Yeah, that was cool. Okay.
What's up, RL and Dylan? Hey, Brandon. Brett Peterson. Afternoon, Brett. Kid Wilson. I rode with Chris Rothrock, Florida. You remember him? Of course I remember Chris Rothrock, man. Rothrock. We were good friends. He's a good guy. Say hi to him if you see him. I plan on calling him. But that thing's on, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Chris Rothrock and I had a lot of fun touring, living together, the whole thing. He's a good rider, man. William. Hey, William Johnson. We have Folgers every day. William, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Or good to hear you. Or see your writing, whatever. Mr. O. William's cool.
Yeah, I talked to him too.
He's a good guy. Bradley Dixon, what's up? Brandon H.
Let's see if we can get Mike to answer.
Oh, this would be like Mike. Did you ride today, William?
Oh, there we go.
Melanie Timms Lale.
What's up?
It's Gabriel. What's up? Hey, Gabriel. Oh, right. I remember. You're on your mom's email, right?
So we got Mike over
Hey, Gabriel. Good
here.
to see you, man. How's that rock walk coming? Chris Wong. What's going on, guys? I had a Redline RL20 in Radbury. Wow. An RL20? That's cool, man. I love that bike, RL20, man. That was a great bike. 22 is also excellent. Both great bikes. Mine was white. I'm a little partial to white, but Mike's out practicing his infinity rolls. Did you hear that?
What?
Mike's out practicing his infinity rolls. He's good at getting better at it every day. Good.
All right, let me get this.
Gabriel says he's getting better at the rock walks. That's what I did the rock walk for. It's for all you guys, but Gabriel's the one that asked for it first. So
Is he in here?
yeah, he's under Melanie Timms. He uses
nice.
his mom's thing.
What up, Gabriel?
Yeah, not a 22. Not a 22. Right, it's a 20. Chris Wong. Yeah, RL20, man. I love that bike. It's a great bike. Great bike. I want to build one of those one of these days.
Okay. So we're going to start it now.
You got him?
All right, let's see.
I don't see that purple box.
Yeah, we're going to get him connected now. All right, so let's get Mike on here. You can say hi to everyone while I'm doing this if you want.
Hey, everybody. How you guys doing? Sunday evening, right?
Just about.
Kid Wilson, 33. Rode with Chris Rock. Bradley Dixon, what's up? How you doing, Bradley? We're just waiting for Mike to answer.
I think it's just a little bit of a rough connection. Here we go.
There he is.
Can you hear us? It might take a sec. All right, let's see here.
Let me sound for a minute.
No.
All right, BMX Freestyle, say something. You guys got to ask me questions, then I'll say something.
All right, let's see.
Craig Mead, Sunday evening here in Detroit. Cool. How you doing, Craig? Nice to have you. Mark Riley. Mike cannot hear you. Mark Riley. Sorry, Mark.
Yeah, we're still working on the connection.
So you guys just keep sending me things and we'll just chat away. Can you give a shout out to my brother, David Holden? Brandon Holden wants me to give a shout out to David Holden. How you doing, David? Hope everything's good, man. Your brother wanted me to say hi, so I'm doing it. What is the temp in sunny California? What's the
Probably
temp?
like 70s.
Probably 70s. It's nice. Cold in the morning, a little warm in the afternoon, cool at night.
Could you hear us now?
Okay, cool, he said. We're having some technical difficulties, but we can see Mike. This is what Duke's saying.
I'm texting with him.
Can you hear us?
Oh, he should be able to. Oh, we can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, definitely. It's kind of...
Your face is frozen though.
Here, I know what we can do. We'll just do it on my phone here.
Thanks, brother. You guys are awesome. No problem, Brandon. My pleasure.
That's what I'll do.
Frank Zelenka. Question for RL. What is the difference between frame geometry then and now? And why not ride your old style ride? Is it easier to do tricks, new or old? You know, this has taken me a while to figure out.
All right, we're going to FaceTime Mike now.
Oh, sorry. I'll have to answer that in a little bit. Well, can I answer this question while you're doing that?
Sure. How's that connection?
I cannot see you, but I can hear you.
Oh, that's weird.
We can see you.
What do you think?
Here, will you hold this then so he can see you?
Can you see me?
No, all I can see is my beautiful face.
All he can see is himself.
Internet. World Wide Web.
That's weird. It's good for us.
Well, that's not good. Well, I don't know. Whatever you guys decide is cool with me. I don't want
It might just take a second for it to connect on your end.
We should get a Zoom, huh?
Let me ask some of my guys. Can you see me? Yeah. They can see, my guys here can see RL and Dylan.
Can you hold us? Yeah, so we got you on, when we were doing it through our stream, I think it was overload because it wasn't connecting as well. So we're just FaceTiming on my phone right now. So on the stream, they'll be able to hear you, but I don't think they'll be able to see you. But we can see you on the phone right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hate that because we've got so many bikes here to show you, but that's okay.
Yeah, I'm going to try.
Yeah, I want to see those bikes, man. How many bikes you got there?
How many bikes you've got here, guys? We've got everything. 14, 15 bikes.
Wow, I
We
want
got
to
a
see
bunch of
those.
guys here, man. It's a good party.
Hey, say hi to everybody for me.
I certainly will.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you're very faint. I can just barely picking you up.
My voice or my face?
I can't see your face at all. I can only see me, and I can only can barely hear you.
Should I? What? Is that any better?
Not so much.
You can't hear me.
Yeah, well, let me see. Maybe this will help. Try that.
Can you hear me?
They're saying there's about a 10-second delay.
Can you hear me now?
Just about the same. I can hear you.
You can't hear me.
Okay. Let me see if I can get it on here.
There's a good delay, isn't there?
That's going to be weird with a delay.
I think the delay is just in the actual broadcast. I don't think it's in the audio when we speak to one another.
All right, see if you can connect. I'm going to call you from the laptop. Let's see if that works this time.
I'm gonna accept here.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, if it's working on our end,
What's the difference between frame geometry then and now? Why not ride your old style ride?
You got any visual?
I'm going to answer that question, Frank. I don't want to interrupt these guys. What if I just called him?
Can you see if he can hear you?
Can you hear me now?
Again, not so much.
How about now?
That's not going to make a difference.
I had the microphone down my throat. Didn't seem to help any.
I think the best thing is just to FaceTime him on my phone that way, because that's the only thing that's working.
Okay. Whatever you guys decide, man. I'm just, I'm not good at tech, so whatever you guys think.
That's the best way to do it.
No, man, I accept it, but then it doesn't, nothing happens.
Can you ask him if he can hear you?
Can you hear me, Mike?
Yes, sir.
Is that better?
I think it might be a little bit better.
He said it might be.
Okay.
What about, what about here? Is it broken in any way?
The what?
Is the volume or the sound broken?
I can hear you perfectly.
Okay.
Can you see me?
Cannot.
Everything's working on our end. Just tell him. We can see.
Who's
him.
your tech supervisor?
He's got over my shoulder as we speak. Yeah, we didn't change anything, Dylan. It's exactly as it was before. Wondering if, hold on a second.
Is that a 22 behind you?
Yeah, it is.
Nice. Wow, all chrome?
All chrome, custom sticker kit.
Nice.
It's the diamond there is a emerald green. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, nice bike.
Thank you. When you come for the sleepover, I'll show you. I'll show you my not so infinity rolls.
We know you can do that, man. We all saw it online. We're all like, yeah, he knows how to do that.
It's more like a temporary roll.
Temporary rule. Are we doing it?
Yeah, you guys are live.
Oh, we're going. We're on, I guess.
Okay, very, very well. Well, thank you so much, Ariel. We certainly appreciate you agreeing to meet with us and hang out for a little time. We don't know how long we're going to have with you, so we certainly want to make the most of your time. I think we have like 12 guys here. Our viewers cannot see.
How's it
Good, is that correct?
Oh, no, you're good.
I'm not sure.
sit in next
I don't know
to
what
him.
anybody can see. I can see you.
Okay. Well, I was just going to say, if the viewers can see what I'm seeing, you'd see something absolutely awesome. It was very much like it would have been back in the day with a ton of bikes out in the front yard. I'm sure my neighbors are freaked out by what's going on here.
Really?
But, then there's 12, 13 of us, and a couple of youngsters. It's great. We had an RL party, and then after this, we're going to hit the road and go to a local parking lot, do some riding a little bit. We'll get some video of that and send it in.
That's nice, man. I wish I was there with you guys.
Yeah, likewise. Well, that might be a question here in a little bit. We might make that happen.
We actually contemplated flying in and not telling you. And we were going to just knock on your door, and Dylan and I were going to walk in.
Hold on, you weren't planning on bringing Pat?
Well, if Pat wants to come, he's got NASCAR and guitar going, but he's here right now.
What's up, Mike?
Okay.
You can't see us.
Well, Ariel, I got to tell you, you're welcome to stay. We appreciate you being here, but we really just want to talk to Pat. So,
He's right here, man.
Hey, Mike, what's going on? Just want to say hi.
You gotta take it.
What's going on?
meeting Pat is like when Marsha Brady met Johnny Bravo. I believe it was episode 6, season 8.
That's cool, man. I know. It's nice to meet you.
We do kind of have a weird fan club here, at least Mark and I. He's my Pat. And we talk about Pat all the time. You're the coolest thing since sliced bread.
Yeah, thanks.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. You're cool too. Me and RL talk about you all the time, and you guys too, man. You're great. You're
You're just being kind.
nah, you're cool, man.
No, that's the truth, man. You're funny, and you bring a lot of entertainment to all this stuff online, which is really cool.
Totally.
Well, I think we all have something that we can contribute, not only to the page, to old school BMX, but to life in general. And if we can manage to pull that off, the time that's fun in us, then we've achieved something. And I got to say, RL, in all seriousness, I'm not trying to get too deep too early, but what you have done to impact our lives, and I can say this for all these guys here who will eventually speak for themselves, but I don't know that you know how much you have impacted our lives. I think that I speak very clearly for the bulk of BMX community, freestyle community, that there's really not words to say for the impact that you have made in our lives. And so on behalf of all of the BMX community, thank you very much.
Well, thank you guys. I mean, sincerely appreciate that very much. But, I have the same feeling for you guys, because if you guys weren't riding and stuff like that, we wouldn't be doing shows and traveling. So you guys mean the same to me. And that's a true, honest statement.
If I might kind of segue from that really quickly, maybe this isn't an official question, but you really do seem to have a certain sense of humility about you, very down to earth. I'm wondering, and have been wondering, where does that come from?
Well, I don't know if it's humility. What do you call
Humility?
it? Humility.
Yeah, I have a hard time saying that myself.
It's just the truth, man. I mean, I wouldn't be doing shows if I didn't have anybody to do shows for, right? If you guys didn't get into it, there wouldn't be a sport. So that's just the truth, man. That's the way I've always seen it. And you guys are as big a part of this as me, at least, if not more. So that's just kind of being honest.
No, I received that. I can believe that. We didn't really know what to expect. Again, speaking for the bulk, I think that most of us were expecting a rock star kind of, coming back on the stage after the last song and just hammering it out. And your seamless and yet very slow moving in is kind of an example maybe for others who we hope that will come back on the scene. I hope others are watching that, because there is this limelight thing that I know you can embrace that. You can probably make a bunch of money, and the fanfare will still be there. But the way that you're coming in, I believe, really sets the tone for others. And again, I'll say it 1,000 times tonight, but thank you not only for your contribution, but for your re-contribution and bringing it back, almost a resurrection of sorts. We're just blessed to be a part of it, truly. Well,
man, that's a huge compliment that I'll remember forever. I really appreciate that. But I see us as friends. Everybody that I talk to, I see us as friends. We're sharing stories. I talk to guys every day, and we're just talking about bikes and how to get this built, and people are helping me with ideas and stuff like that. So I think it's funny you guys want my autograph, truthfully, because I just look at it as we're doing the same thing. But, you know, if that makes you happy, I'll do it, you know?
Yeah, well, it does. It absolutely does. Well, here's the thing, man. We could stay here all night, and you would probably stay on all night, and we could ask some really goofy questions. And there's no way that I'm going to be able to ask all the right questions. There are going to be some people out there in BMX land who are going to be disappointed, no doubt. So I'm just going to kind of shoot from the hip. And what I have decided to do, maybe a little bit unorthodox, but instead of asking you direct questions, what I would like to do is maybe bring up some subjects and then listen to you talk on those subjects. And as questions kind of organically come to surface, then we would kind of maybe approach those questions. And again, I've got several guys here who may or may not ask questions. I guess time will have a lot to do with that. Because again, I think you're kind enough to stay on and answer questions, but I don't know that those are the things that you want to talk about. And so I believe that most people want to hear what you want to talk about. It probably isn't the horse race, or maybe it is. I don't want to speak for you, but I think that you would probably speak on it. And I imagine that there are other things that you want to talk about. In fact, the other day, if I remember correctly, you asked me if I was going to ask the wimpy questions or I was going to get down to business, right?
Right.
So let's go back to the very beginning, maybe even pre-BMX. You decide that if you want. I'm wondering, what was it like for R.L. Osborne? Maybe again, even pre-BMX. What was it like growing up, Southern California scene, in the home of famed BMX magazine creator Bob Osborne? What was childhood like for you?
Well, there's stages before that happened in, you know, writing and stuff, but I'll talk about the magazine. It was just, you know, my dad and I kind of got into racing, or I was doing a lot of riding by myself with my friends and stuff, and my dad would watch. And then we heard somebody put a track together. We went and did that. But yeah, it was cool, man. When the magazine started, I mean, it definitely took everything to a new level. It just brought notice to everybody, and they brought all these iconic pictures and stuff. And we had, I mean, to me, like Tom Lund came to my house one time, and he's an old school guy, but that was like pretty much God walking into my living room. Jimmy Weinert won the Super Bowl motocross. He came into my house right after that. That was pretty mind-boggling. You know, all the guys that were like the big pros, John Palferman, Byron Friday, Bobby and Encinas. Anytime those guys were around, it was pretty cool. But yeah, it was neat.
Yeah. How old were you when BMX Action came into play?
I have no idea. No idea. I was, let's see. I don't know. I don't really log anything by years, or I just go by memory type, but I don't know.
Yeah, we look back at magazines and we thought, again, speaking for myself and for many others, we just can't imagine you being a kid. You know, you always seem larger than life and very mature, very much an ambassador for the sport. It was almost like you were created for the purpose.
Thank you. Thank you.
It truly. And so here's a question for you, a kind of segue from that. You mentioned that Bob Harrow lived in your home. How in the world did that happen? What was that like?
Well, Bob was this insane artist, and he was doing these drawings, and my dad and him made a deal. He was going to be an artist for the magazine, and he was going to live with us. And Bob and I and all my friends who became Bob's friends too, we used to go surfing together every day. We'd always eat at this Mexican restaurant called Rose's, and it was cool. Bob was very entertaining. We fought like brothers at time, but you know, when you're living together, that's going to happen. But he had a car. He was old enough to drive, and I wasn't. So it was good. He was he's a creative guy, man. And then he was doing his number plates too, which was big. Yeah, it was a big thing to get in the old days to just a regular number plate, and Bob would cut out the numbers and put them on the plate. This is before the years, and all the pros ran his plates. And so that was a big thing.
Yeah, so that started out as, what's the name of that? Factory plates.
Yeah, probably.
And then he changed it to Haro, and that kind of just took off.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm just suspecting that BMX Action was your first sponsor. Sure.
No, I was, before I used to break handlebars when I was riding the Schwinn, right? I break handlebars, and I always take it to this place in Redondo Beach. Her name was Paulina. And she'd scream at me like, "What are you doing to those bikes? And why are you breaking everything?" I'm like, "I don't know, but they're broken and I need new bars, you know?" My dad would stand back and he let me fight it. I was like 8 or 9. And about the 4th time I went into her Schwinn bike shop, she said she wanted to sponsor me, which was a change, you know. She's going to change my bars out and sponsor me. There's a lot that went on before the magazine of just kids riding, you know, but that was one of the things that had gone on. When I was like 5, I was riding bicycles from 4 to 5 and motorcycles in there. And the Souls family, they used to ride bikes and do wheelies up and down the street. This guy named Mark Nearing used to ride a Honda Elsinore and do wheelies on his motorcycle. And I just wanted to emulate that so bad. But there was kids before me that were riding wheelies around the block, you know. I mean, so this goes way before me. But yeah, we were just doing jumps and stuff, and it was great. And then when the magazine came out, it just took the sport and really, it actually made it a sport. You know, the quality that they put into that magazine. My dad was a freak about quality. He just wanted that thing perfect, and it showed, you know.
Sure. It did show. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here you are watching guys doing wheelies on motorcycles and bicycles, and that kicked off. You mentioned the rock walk, watching Bob do that, and so I'm just suspecting that was one of the first tricks that you've seen on a bicycle.
No, it was the first like that really made a big difference. I mean, people tell us all the time. Way before, when I was like 6, I was riding these wood jumps that I'd make. My dad and a neighbor were sitting on their handlebars backwards, riding the bike. You know what I mean? And there was kids doing wheelies, you know, jumping off curbs. We were starting to do 180s off curbs and stuff like that. But when it all came together, Bob Haro came to our house and he did a rock walk, and that was like a bomb going off. That was big. And he was also trying to do a 180 and roll backwards, and he was close to pulling it, and he eventually did. But that's where things kind of came together. But yeah, the riders that were before in BMX, the early riders, they were contemplating 360s off jumps. They were working on some crazy stuff, trying different things. You know what I mean? So you could see this kind of coming. And nobody really thought about freestyle until Bob did those 2 tricks. And that was the opening. And he did a curb endo too. And then we started riding. Yeah. We started riding at a place called Dunkin' Donuts, me, Bob, and a bunch of friends. And we ride there every night, and because there was a bank. And it just grew from there.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
That's so awesome. Everybody has a beginning, right?
Yeah, there's a beginning, but man, if you really, you know, like Pat Romano, I was in Vegas with Pat Romano when we were riding together, and he had a brother that must have been 35 that was doing those tricks that Pat did. He was riding in Circus and had been doing it a long time.
Oh, wow.
So Pat Romano and the way that they rode, I think that was going on for a long time, you know? So if you really get into the research of guys doing tricks on bicycles, it goes back to those big wheel bikes with a little wheel in the back, you know?
No doubt.
Yeah.
We've got a big wheel bike out here in the yard right now. We're gonna see if we can buy some wheelies here in a little bit.
Cool.
Let me ask you, do you ever get this nostalgic? Like we get
Right.
From everything from seeing a bike, like when Dustin wrote in a few minutes ago or a couple hours ago on his Kuahara, like this euphoric, nostalgic emotion ran over me. And most people have something that resembles that. What do you get nostalgic about, in particular when it concerns BMX?
Well, I have a really big place in my heart for all the guys that I used to race with. Well, I was like 9, and there was pros that were racing BMX. And those guys, I remember watching Bobby and Cena's wheelie over a jump for the first time. Can you imagine that, speed jumping for the first time? These guys were just Paul Furman, Tomlin, Billy Wuda, Marvin Church built the first triangle frame, I think. These were big things. But when I forgot his name, the guy came by with his wife and he brought that red General.
I remember that.
Right. And up until that point, I thought you guys were nuts, man. I'm like, what are you guys doing building all these old bikes? I didn't get it, but when I sat on that bike, man, it was like a time machine. It was like it seemed like time had stopped and I'd gone back in time. And then I got what you guys were doing. And but sitting on that bike was the first time I really got nostalgic, I guess you would say.
And we've got one of those. We've got an Osborne Pro here that is absolutely beautiful. It's the gray one. I think you're building the gray one for Eric.
That's right there.
Yes, it's right. You can't see it, huh? It's
Yeah,
right.
I can't see it.
That's
It's
too
behind
bad.
you there. Yeah, someone was telling me. So you and I have a mutual friend. I just mentioned his name. His name is Eric Wolf.
Oh, you know Eric?
I do.
Oh, really?
Kind of a small world the way that happens. I was talking to him on the phone this week, and for those out there in BMX world who do not know, Eric has stomach cancer. He was in the hospital when I was talking to him just this week, and I told him I was going to throw him under the bus. So I'm going to throw him under the bus. He had a question for you about Redline, and we're going to kind of segue into your thoughts on Redline. But Eric asked the question. He said, I've done a ton of research on Redline, and nowhere in Redline discussion, like literal Redline discussion, is there a mention of R.L. Osborne. And so I just threw him under the bus. And he was wondering why that is.
Who? What do you mean? There's no discussion. Who is having an?
On the Redline site. You can go to the Redline
Oh, right.
site.
I can't tell you why that
Their
is.
history.
There's a reason. There's a big reason behind that, which I can't say. But
I suspected that.
I will tell you this: that Lynn asked me if he could put my name on a bike, and I said I would love to have my name on a bike, and that's where the RL20 and the RL22 came from. Lynn Caston being the original owner of Redline. So the reason why they didn't print that was other reasons that had nothing to do with me, but some people didn't. It's a long story, but yeah, it is my name, and that was a choice of Lynn Caston. So.
Well, I told Eric I would mention it, so he's in fanboy mode right now as well. So
Yeah, Eric and I talked quite a bit, and he's a trip. He's a good guy, man. He was talking to me, and I could hear the nurses, and I go, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm getting a blood transfusion for my surgery." And he's talking to me on the phone, and we're talking about bikes. I'm like, okay, but he's cool. I really like him.
Yeah.
we talked about Redline there.
Can you tell Mike if he goes on Facebook and watches the stream?
Sorry, Mike. Mike, can I interrupt you a second?
Sure.
Hold on.
Tell him if he pulls up the stream on Facebook, he'll be able to see you guys through that, and then he can hear you through the
Remember,
phone.
my Facebook has been.
Oh, that's right. Never mind. Yeah.
Right.
But
Okay.
yeah.
That's one of his friends has it.
You heard that, Mike?
Yes, sir.
You heard Dylan say that.
I just heard him in your background.
Good. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so back to just asking you to speak your mind on subjects. When you think of Redline, what does R.L. Osborne think about?
Well, I'll tell you, there's a guy that I'm going to tell you, this is what really turns me on lately. This guy posted a picture of a Hazard Yellow updated Redline. and it looks like a 4-inch head tube, and he's got a small sprocket on it, and he's cleaned up a few things on it, and man, that looks really tasty to me. That updated red line really gets me going. I mean, I love the old red lines, you know. I love the swelled out rear end. It's such a quality bike, you know. But the updated thing, because, you know, I'm riding, you know, so I want to ride these bikes. But that hazard yellow updated red line really turns me on.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
But the old ones too, seeing these old ones that are just like really clean, they're like, you know, time period correct, everything is just right on. They're just, it's like a piece of art, you know, they're just beautiful.
Did you have any, were your fingerprints on the 20 or the 22?
In the design?
Yes.
Absolutely. The 20, I had gone to Lynn Casson and said, can we make a freestyle bike? Here's how it would go. He had an engineer, his name was Gene, and Lynn and I would sit in the office and I would tell him what I needed. And then Lynn would figure out how to make it look good and clean. And then Gene, the engineer, I hope I said his name right, would say whether or not it would work or not. And there was a lot of arguments in there because, you know, a lot of things will work that an engineer will tell you that they won't, but he had a big hand in it. So it was a combination of all of us on both bikes.
Yeah, so you can see I know your listeners can. You can see the 20 too.
Yeah, I can see it.
If you hold it towards the camera screen, they can see it too if you want to show it to them.
What?
And then the 20.
Like this?
Yeah. But you can see what they're seeing, so.
Oh, can you guys see that?
We can't see anything but just what I've got on my, I can see me.
Okay. I was just showing your bike, but.
Nice.
Yeah, so what did you like better, the 20 or the 22? I'm just gonna
Well,
shout out.
the 20, you know, it was the first one that came out, you know, and Lynn made the head angle way too steep, and that was really uncomfortable. But after 2 weeks, man, I was loving Lynn because that made the trick so much easier, you know. But the 20 was kind of, I don't know if that was the first actual freestyle bike that came out, but I just love that bike. I would prefer to ride a 22 because I like the double top tube. You know what I mean? And the swelled out rear tail. But there's so much work in that thing, tapered tubes and the way it wraps around the head and those tight bends. I mean, that bike was before its time. The 20 was, and so was the 22.
Yeah, my first memory of you was obviously BMX Action. Certainly was BMX Action. Redline ad, the 8420, and you're crouched down behind that. By the way, I should have worn it, but I have the jersey, I have the jacket, I have the shoes.
Really?
I'm working on the jeans, and I'm working on the curly hair. I have this plan to recreate that.
Yeah.
And then in 85, the 22 came out with this pretty much the same picture. And, you know, I had kind of just put it in my head that one day I would own those. And now, as you see, I do. And I absolutely love them. I love riding that 22, even though I'm much shorter than you. It just has so much room. It's like riding a Cadillac.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, I'm learning as measuring this general behind me, and the angle of the seat post opens up a lot of, there's advantages to the new style of ride, not the really short bikes, but like my S&M. There's advantages to the old way and the new styles. And I'm learning that. The more I ride, I just keep learning more about the geometries. And hopefully one day I'll come out with something that's kind of the best of both worlds, but it'll probably cater a little bit more to the old school.
Even just earlier today, I was riding a new school bike. One of these guys here has a new school bike. And I was riding that, and then I jumped on, something else that was 85, we'll say.
Yeah.
And it's just night and day. And hats off to you guys. Of course, I know you get used to whatever you get used to riding.
Right.
You worked with what you had to work with. But nonetheless, to ride some of those bikes now and think just night and day. I have a suspicion that there are those new school guys who would pick up what you guys wrote, what we wrote, and couldn't even begin to do the quality of tricks that they're doing. So what you did in your day, people, I believe, probably do understand was well before its time. And of course, we still try to mimic that today. But
I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. And it's really cool having the new school coming back into this, because they're teaching me a lot about the old school, and what all those riders came up with and how I see it in their riding today. But I mean, the new school have definitely taken care of their own, right? They're doing unbelievable stuff, but it also makes me appreciate the ramp riders, the ground riders, the street riders, and everything that was done back in the day was pretty good,
Yeah.
Pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah, we can even watch some of the videos. No offense, but as corny as maybe the choreography was in some of those old videos,
Yeah.
the tricks were absolutely awesome, and that's how we developed into to riders ourselves, was mimicking what you did. Most of us didn't have our own tricks. We just tried to do what we saw in magazines, and of course in some of the Saturday morning commercials, and then obviously Rad. Can we talk about Rad for a minute?
Sure.
Talk about your contribution to Rad. You weren't in the movie. You were obviously in the intro and the outro. That wasn't a slight to you in any way. There were lots of guys who weren't in the movie, but how do you feel about that? How do you feel about the movie and your contribution?
Well, do you want the whole story?
I want as much as you want to talk about.
So I had been touring.
Yes, we want the whole story.
I was on tour with Ronnie Wilton, and we had been all over Switzerland. We'd been back and forth to there a bunch of times. We were going across. I'd been on the road for most of 7 years. And one day we were in our hotel room. I was just sitting in the tub, and my manager called me, who was a lady that worked at the magazine. Her name was Darlene Lear. She's just a great woman. She passed away, but she was just a fantastic woman. But she told me that they wanted me to go to Canada for 3 months to do the movie Rad and be involved in, teaching the guys how to talk and ride and riders and stuff like that. And I turned it down because I was just so burned out. I didn't
Plug that in, charge it.
hold on a second, Mike.
Yeah.
And she was pissed that I turned it down. But when you're on the road that much and you're just on airports, Mike and I used to live in airports, and I was just done, man. I needed some time off, And they called me back during my tub. We had 3 phone calls back and forth, and I finally just said, they made me a really nice offer, and I said, I can't do it. I can't do it, And they went to Eddie. As far as I knew, they went to Eddie Fiola after that. Maybe Eddie was already talking to him. I don't know, but that's how my part of it went. And I regret that I'm glad I took the time off, but I kind of wish I would have been involved, because I could see areas where maybe I could have helped a little bit. But that's how that went.
You used a key word there, regret. Can we kind of segue? What are some of your regrets? And I don't mean to tap into anything too sentimental or emotional, but you did at one point hit the eject button on Freestyle and BMX, and I'm wondering if there's regret there, and if so, in what direction would you say there's regret?
No, there's no regrets. In fact, I shouldn't have said regret about Rad. I mean, I wish I could have been there to maybe teach the riders, how we really talk, because we had our own language, that.
Sure.
And, how to ride a bike so they look like they were riding a bike and like they could, But I know Eddie did a really good job there. But no, walking away from that offer that they'd given me taught me that this was more important to me than money, you know? And so I learned a good lesson about myself there, walking away from the sport because I had to deal with myself that if I was ever doing it only for the money, I would walk away out of respect for the sport because I love the sport. It was my everything. By walking away, it was kind of just paying tribute, going, I'm just not going to abuse you anymore in a way, just for the money. And I learned a lot about myself in that time.
Yeah, that's huge. What an example for all of us.
It was huge. It was brutal to walk away from it, but you know, and I knew it'd be hard for people to understand. And I did get a phone call from someone, I can't remember his name, but he said on the phone, he goes, did you ever think about all the people that were following you and then you just left? And I told him honestly, no, I never considered myself a person that people followed. So I just thought we were all friends, you know, and I go to these shows and I'd see my friends. I never thought about anybody following me. But when he said it that way, if I would have thought about that more, I would have done it different. You know what I mean?
Hindsight's 20/20.
Right.
And let's just be honest, we all left. At some point, we all left.
Yeah.
And don't be too hard on yourself because we all make those decisions, whether it be leaving BMX or leaving relationships. And there's a reason why the windshield is bigger than the rearview mirror, you know.
Right.
What's in front of us is what is most important. And I do want to eventually, here in just a few minutes, hit on the future. But let me, so we talked about Redline. When I mentioned the word general, what comes to mind? Not just bike, but touring, sponsorship, the whole 9 yards.
Can I say one more thing about Redline?
Please do.
Okay. You know, Stu Thompson, Dee Leone, John Anderson, Scott Clark, there was all these amazing riders on that team. You know what I mean? And so that was one big attraction. But Lynn Caston, the quality that he wanted to put out and the things he taught me about the ramps he built for us. And that was everything to me. That was Redline with that team and Lynn Caston. That was my whole connection there. That's why, you know, and you guys can see, because this bike is still a really good bike, you know? So those were my big draws to that team. And I was lucky to be a part of it.
When we think of Redline, we think of R.L. Osborne, you know.
Well, thank you.
That's on the Freestyle label. We think of Race, we think of Stu Thompson and a host of others. But yeah, I think when most think of Freestyle, they think of Redline and they think of R.L. Osborne.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
So Bully, talk to us about Bully. Or excuse me, General.
Okay, so the industry was changing and Redline was going through difficulties, you know, because we were going through our first cycle in freestyle.
Right.
And so Redline and I had separated, and there happened to be a bike show in Reno, and a friend of mine, Fred Blood, was riding for a bike company called General.
Yeah, we've heard of him.
Yeah. I hope you know, man, that guy is God on roller skates. He was doing stuff on, you know, 4-wheeled roller skates at Runway or whatever the skate park was in Marina. He was doing 540 canyons when we were just starting to ride skate parks. He was ahead of his time.
Yeah, there are videos of Fred out there, skinny as a rail, and what he did was absolutely amazing. Yeah, so he was touring with General already, correct?
I don't know if he was touring, but he had found them and he had got them going, and he was they had a good connection. Fred is he knows how to get things done. He's a sharp guy. Okay. Fred and I were friends for a long time. But anyways, I showed up this Reno show and he goes, "What are you doing here?" Because I hated going to those, like, you know, Anaheim and all those things. I just hated those things. And I said, "Well, I'm not riding for Redline anymore." And he was like, "Oh, you got to talk to these guys at General." And I think I met Harry Myers and Chet and maybe a couple other people. And we started talking. I was actually talking to Schwinn at the same time. And I chose to go with General.
So you were talking to Schwinn to
Right.
maybe go tour with or sponsor with Schwinn.
Schwinn and General they wanted me pretty bad, which is a really good feeling, you know, after losing a ride with Redline. It was really nice to be wanted. And I had good relationships with the people at Schwinn. Had been talking to them forever. Just friends with them. But yeah, I chose to go with General. And man, they were a good company. They let me get really involved. And Harry Myers, I don't know if you know him or not, but he's the best, man. Straight shooter.
I think I can speak for the masses and say good decision.
Yeah.
General over Schwinn, and that's almost a slight. I don't mean for it to, but the General bike is off the hook. I'm looking at one literally as we speak, and yeah, good decision. The Osborne Pros. I don't think I could get into a Schwinn RLM Pro. I don't know. Maybe I could.
You know,
We'll never know, will we?
the Osborne Pro, man, that bike and I were just like one. I was so comfortable on that bike, you know, just like the Redline. I never thought I would get that feeling about a bike after not riding for Lancaster or Redline, but the General, just, man, it was like one of those bikes you just don't have to think about it. It's just right with you, you know?
Wow, very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Let's talk about touring. When you think about touring, what are your thoughts? What was it? Was it something you enjoyed? And what did you speak to it at whatever extent you would like to?
Everybody I toured with had different, Todd Anderson, Ronnie Welton. They all had unique personalities, which was really cool. It kept it entertaining. And I learned stuff from all of them, you know, Chris Rothrock. But man, if you're going to tour, go with Mike Buff. You just got to go with Mike Buff and Dana Duke, because those guys are, man, you're going to need that entertainment. They're kind of like you know, very entertaining no matter what they're doing. And you need that side when you're on the road all the time.
You're answering some of my questions a little prematurely. We are going to have a speed round here in a little bit as we kind of segue towards an exit. But some of these guys have some questions.
Cool.
We're going to have them to kind of step forward again. You can't see them, so it's not necessary for them to be in front of the camera. And then I'm going to come back, ask a few serious questions, and then do a speed round if that's cool.
Can I mention something real quick?
Absolutely.
So the other night, this is totally off the subject, but Pat, I told you guys he plays guitar.
Yes.
And Pat's a sandbagger. I want you guys to know that. He tells me like, yeah, I know a little bit. Yeah, I know a few chords. But then when we start talking, he's like, he knows everything, right? So I'm like, anyways, he sent me a video Friday night of him playing the blues on stage live. And I didn't even know it was him, man. I'm like, who is this guy? I never even heard of this guy. And then I looked up and I noticed it was Pat. We're going to post that. And you guys can see what he does with a guitar. And it's blues, but man, it'll blow your mind.
So appreciate the Pat that you work with is the carpet guy, Pat.
Yes.
But then he puts a cape on. When he puts his cape and mask on, something crazy happens.
Yeah, he is like humble beyond humble. And he's moved into the level of what I call a sandbagger, where they're like, you know, it's like one of those guys that goes, no, I never water skied before. And they get out there and they're doing backflips, you know? He's like that. And I've been working with him for over, a year and a half now?
Yeah.
Year and a half. Yeah. And man, he says stuff and answers questions and figures things out. And I'm just like, I'm starting to believe he's like a scientist for NASA or something. But the other night, the guitar question all came together, man. And it was just another big reality check.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you.
All right. Who's got questions? Brent,
We're
you
going
got
to post
questions?
that too.
Yeah, that's cool.
Pull a little forward. Ride your bike a little forward. There you go. You got some
All right.
legs in the garage.
Hey, RL, how you doing?
Hey, man, who am I talking to?
This is Brent Schulze, big fan of yours.
Brent, how you doing, man?
Good, I'm doing good.
I can't see you. I can't see your face.
Pipeline or Del Mar, the skate ranch, or any of that?
Pipeline. No, I didn't ride Pipeline. I rode in Marina Del Rey, Torrance, Lakewood, kind of the skate parks before those, but not Pipeline.
So what kept you from entering any of those skate park contests, just out of curiosity?
Well, I was riding parks a lot, and I was riding Lakewood, and this little kid came. His name was Mike Dominguez, and
Yeah, we've heard of it. Yeah.
man, he progressed so fast. And he goes, I remember he rode by me at like 13 or something. He said, just wait. Mike's a man of few words. And I saw him in Del Mar, like 12 feet out of these bowls. And I'm like, well, I think I'm done with skate parks. Him and Brian and Eddie Fiola they just took it so far and so high and so good and smooth that I was like, well, I don't think there's really anything I can do here, you know? And so I decided to concentrate on, I still rode overall, you know, that used to be a big thing. You ride ground and ramps, and I like doing overall. I won some contests in the overall, but man, when you see Mike, Eddie, and Brian, and then Ron Wilkerson, all those guys, Josh White, you see them ride, and it's like, man, I don't want to ride against those guys. They're just freaking out of this world, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
And just to tag on to that question real quick, I feel like, and I could be wrong, that you kind of faded out of the ramp scene towards the end and just went to flatland. What made you choose to do that, if that's true?
Well, overall riding was kind of fading out, and I decided to concentrate on one thing that I really wanted to do well as best as I could. And flatland was kind of my that's kind of the original thing where this all started. That was where my heart was. And man, the ramp riders were just doing ramps justice, you know, and more justice than I could do. And I rode with these guys for a long time, but they were progressing so fast. I decided to go with ground, and I was starting to get a little bit older probably. And and that was a really good move. I didn't think anybody would sponsor me just being on ground, and it didn't make any difference at all.
Wow. Very cool.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sure, my pleasure. Nice meeting you.
Yeah.
Ariel, I'm going to ask my friend Mark to come. He's got a question that is absolutely off the hook. You need to prepare yourself. If you're not sitting down, you might want to sit down for this one.
Is this Mark, the guy I've been talking to online?
It is. He's my Pat. I'm Pat.
What's going on?
Hey, Mark, how you doing, man?
Big fan, man. He's sidekicks, man.
Right on. You got it, brother. You got it, man.
Club Home, such a iconic piece of BMX history. What does Club Homeboy mean to you? I know that you were one of the original guys, from what I've read, of Club Homeboy. I'd just like to hear what it means to you.
Man, you know, that was, I think, Lou and Andy, Mark Lumen, and I can't remember Andy's last name, but he was the bass player in Milk. And he also worked for he was the art guy for BMX Action for a long time. That was kind of their thing, you know? And I didn't know that much about it, really. I mean, I knew they were doing it, and they were extremely creative. And I didn't really, I don't know. That's all I really knew about it. How many issues came out?
I don't know. I know there was a handful that I've seen, but I know that the story that, I always like the story of, they had the King of Vert competitions, and the guys were making the Club Homeboy stickers and going to the King of Vert competitions and putting the stickers everywhere, and then people would see them and kind of just wanted to, just kind of blew up from there. But I was really curious on, how big, if that played a big part in your career.
I remember it happening, and I know Mark and, I don't know if Jeff Tremaine happened to be in that. I think it was more Andy and Lou. It was very creative, and I think they were trying to bring kind of some fashion back into it, like skateboarding and stuff, and a little more of a hard edge. And I really liked it. I just didn't know that much about it, probably because I was so absorbed in BMX action and freestyling.
Cool, I appreciate it. And Dylan, Pat, keep it up, guys. You guys are kicking butt.
Yeah, man, you're doing a
Appreciate
good job for
Mike. Yeah,
Mike.
You are, man.
Yeah, it's good to have you there.
You guys are kicking butt too.
He needs your help.
yeah, he's awesome, man.
Jason, you have a question? Not right now, not yet.
If they stand behind you, Mike, I can see them.
He said if you stand behind me, you can see. See,
It's Brett again. I got one more question.
Sure.
Living out in the Midwest, took a while to get the magazines, or not to get them, but the information came out kind of slow for us, so we were kind of always behind everything going on in California. But it's kind of not really that related. But that Mountain Dew commercial was a big influence on us out here.
Yeah.
It was kind of up to the minute, and it just made a big difference. Seeing that video and seeing all the different tricks and the pros in that commercial, that was a big deal for us. I don't know if you were aware of that, but do you have any memories about making that commercial?
I do. I can tell you. Yeah, it was really cool because Ron Wilkerson, Eddie Fiola, me, I think Pat Romano was probably in it. So they told us at the end of the commercial, they had this lake and a jump, and they said you get one jump. That's it, one shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I got to go before Eddie, which was good because Eddie's really good off jumps. And I pulled that 360, right? And Eddie rolled by me. He goes, "You son of a bitch." And he was going to do that too. So he's like, he was going to try a backflip, you know? And it didn't work. So it was, you know, I got the 360 because I went before Eddie. And it just kind of worked out. But it was really cool working with those guys. Yeah, it was a fun commercial.
certainly some of our earliest memories was that commercial.
We had wetsuits on underneath our uniforms because that water was so cold.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. And only one shot, too. You hit the jump. I mean, one time. That's it. You know, pressure was
Do you
on.
remember where that lake is, or where it was filmed?
You know, we sometimes we're at Universal Studios. Sometimes we were out on a site. You know, it was all kind of in that general area. Sometimes I did a Wrangler commercial. It was out, I don't know. I can't remember exactly, but it was all out in the valley, all out in that Hollywood area kind of.
Very cool. Jason, anybody else? Good question. They said we get a lot of points already, and each one seems to birth more questions. All right, let's talk about. You really seem to be very philosophical, maybe more so than what we thought. And I don't mean to contrive something if that's not the case. It's not the case, but probably not a subject that freestyle world is expecting to hear. But talk about life, talk about death. What does that mean to RLI Sport? Okay,
I'm going to hit on the death one first. And when I die, I want my word to be intact. I want to know that I didn't break my word to anybody. That's very important to me. Trusting, you know, people that I trust. Few and far between, but very important to me. I just want to know that I didn't do anybody wrong, and I help people. I like helping people, you know.
Sure.
So if I'm laying in my, you know, I could die right now in this experience I'm going through with you guys for all these years. I know it's been off and on, but I die a happy man.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, you know, as a pastor, I tend to eventually lead into that area. You have a friend in me. That's something you ever want to discuss. I'm your club homeboy for that.
You know, I don't know if you feel this, but it feels like you and I have been friends a long time. Longer than we've been talking online.
Yeah. You know, I was, just to kind of segue, I don't know if you remember this, but it's been, I don't know, four months or so. You had actually commented on one of my YouTube videos. I think it was the build of the 22 behind me. And I know you're not supposed to text and drive. Maybe that leads towards the death conversation. I'm going to assume that I was at a stoplight and I get a ping on my phone and it says R.L. Osborne commented on your video and you said something like, great job, keep up the good work. I don't know, something like that. I have to go back and look at it. I'm surprised it's not by this point. But and my response, because I didn't want to come across as being some creeper, it's like, thanks for commenting. You do really good work too, or something. But that's kind of how we, that's the first time that I had seen your name having any connection to me. And then you friended me on Facebook, and then you might remember that I reached out to you very, very early on for the sake of, I don't want to say helping you, but I just, I'm a veteran to social media, and I knew that you worked, and I knew the sharks would come out, and our listeners may find this interesting that until today, you and I have never talked BMX.
No, but first of all, I love the Sharks and the Skeptics and all that because it just keeps it exciting, But that's funny because the first time I remember even seeing you was when you had taken Dominic's picture out of the one of me and Duke, and all it said was "just go with it." That was the first thing he said with me, man. Just go with it. I'm like, this sounds like fun, and that was a good time. I'm like, this guy's kind of cool. Right. Right. I enjoy those conversations, talking shop. I learned a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Unless somebody else has a question, we're going to do speed round. Jason? Okay. Anybody else? Feel free.
The picture is kind of fading. Does it look like it's getting lighter?
I don't like this. That's the lighting. So it's all right. Yeah,
I think once, Mike, I said to you, I proposed a joke to you. And like usually people are like, what? I don't know what you're talking. What do you want me to do? And you're like, I got it. I'll take care of it. You're like you had it figured out. It was cool.
we have that connection.
Yeah.
All right. A speed round. If you're ready for this.
Sure.
Who was your idol as a kid? We idolized you. Who did you idolize?
Probably Bob Hanna.
Sure.
Motocross guys, man. Ricky Johnson, Jeremy McGrath, Bob Hanna, Brock Glover, all those guys are kind of my heroes. Jeff Ward. And then all the guys in BMX too, all the BMX pros too.
Second question, boxers or briefs?
What are briefs? I wear Calvin Klein. I don't know. They're longer. They're longer. They're not like, the little ball grabbers, but they're
boxing briefs. Boxing briefs.
Okay, Dylan says boxer briefs.
What about you, Pat? Boxer or briefs?
Briefs.
Wow. Okay. You're not as cool as we thought, man. RL, long hair or short hair back in the day?
Long hair, man. You mean, did I like it?
Yeah.
I liked long hair because women liked long hair, so it was a good thing.
That can segue into some conversation, I'm sure.
And back, when I was riding like Soledad Sands, like David Clinton time and Tomlin and Stewart, and actually Bob Hanna raced out at Soledad Sands. He raced BMX. A lot of guys. Long hair, man. We all had long hair. Everybody wore puka shells, long hair. And then we started racing that was the NBA. And then we started racing at Western Sportsorama, which is like Greg Hill territory. And the Dirk brothers, or David Al brothers. And they were a little more clean cut. They had long hair, a little bit long hair, but a little more clean cut. And the guys in Soledad, we were a little more like ratty. And I've kind of always been ratty. I'm always been kind of a Soledad type of guy.
You're the ratty one.
Yep.
Okay. Red line, general, or bully?
In what? Favorite?
Yeah.
Probably red line, general, then bullet.
I was right.
Yeah?
Yeah. Okay, here's another one. Ramp, flat, or street?
Man, street's really fun. I love flat. Flat is like, man, that's just what I really have my heart at. Street's good. Hurts more though. Ramp hurts a lot more. But I love riding dirt jumps. I was riding skate parks and dirt jumps like a year ago. So
Yeah, we're anxious to see some video of that. I think most of us just discovered this.
it was actually cool, you know. I started riding dirt jumps and it was nice because I could go ride and nobody knew anything about me. I was just a rider. And that was always one of my dreams. Not to have people looking at you expecting. And it was cool. I could go ride and I'd meet these 16-year-old kids. I'd meet 60-year-old men. I'd all kinds of people that we just shared the sport, you know. It was cool.
And they didn't necessarily know who you were.
They did not know who I was.
And do you ride with a helmet?
On dirt jumps or a skate park, I wear a full face helmet all the time. I'd be dead right now if I didn't wear a full face. Yeah.
Favorite band of all time?
Zeppelin.
Somebody just said that in the background, Zeppelin.
No question.
Page.
Jimmy Page.
Who was your toughest competitor?
Racing?
No, freestyle. Any freestyle.
Well, if I could say racing, Greg Hill in the 12-year-old class was.
Greg Hill in the 12-year-old class.
Yeah, we own the 12-year-old class, and man, he had. The one thing I hated about Greg was he put on the back of his pants it said "You lose,"
Yes.
and that was the only reason why I wanted to beat him. Because if I went across the finish line, I had to read his pants. I felt like he was I know he was directing it at me, and I hated that. So, but he was a clean racer, man. He was extremely fast and strong and clean. Had a good time.
Where did that come from? Putting your name or something iconic on the back of your pants. I mean, you had what was it? Set. Yeah, you had set.
Yeah.
With the dollar sign.
Right. Yeah. That was before I lost everything. I was sad at that time. A couple of years later, it wasn't that way, but
You can take it off after a while.
yeah.
So you were sad. Very, very good. So your toughest competitor in freestyle, who was the guy who you hoped would not, that maybe their plane was late or whatever?
Well, Dennis McCoy was, man, he could ride like he rode in the street. He could ride that way in a contest, you know. Rick Molinterno was really good. Woody, Martin. And we were, whether they want to admit this or not, we were all glad that Kevin Jones didn't go pro.
Oh, sure. No doubt.
That was like a gift from God. We all knew that.
Yeah, Kevin Jones is amazing.
Yeah, he is.
I spoke with Rick Molinterno, I don't know, less than a year ago. He had nothing but good things to say about you. I'll just throw that in there.
You know what I was thinking about him the other day? You know, these guys, the new riders are doing these nose manuals on their front wheel. They're standing on their pedals, gliding on their front wheel. I kid you not. I remember I don't think I hallucinated this, but I was watching Rick do his run right before me. And I swear to God, he came out and did a nose wheel on his pedals about 50 feet, just gliding. And I was just like, man, I couldn't believe I saw that. I was like, I had to put it out of my head so I could go do my run. But man, that's way back then he was doing that. That's crazy.
So that's flat. What about ramp? Who was the toughest guy?
Mike, well, in the early days, Mike Buff really pushed me. Mike was pretty nutty. He would ride off roofs, drop into heavy bulls. He pushed me a lot. But when Eddie Fiola and Blyther and Dominguez, a guy named Steve Bennett, man, he was so good. Good guitar player too. When those guys came on the scene, it was like they were progressing so fast it was hard to keep up with.
Sure. You mentioned Mike Buff. I have here as a question for speed round for your your partner, who would be Mike Buff or Ron Wilton?
For my partner,
Yeah, for a riding partner.
Ronnie and I got along really good, and Ronnie was super smooth. And here's what I learned from Ronnie. We're sitting at breakfast, and I was always looking for energy, and Ronnie turned up the sugar upside down, those big sugar things. And I swear it was like 10 minutes that thing was dumping into his coffee. I'm like, what are you doing, man? And he's like, I don't know, it tastes good. And I'm like, well, all right. He goes, try it. So I did it, and I was like, wow, my energy level went through the roof. And he also did pizza from Domino's, pepperoni pizza with jalapenos. And man, I got those things just ripped me apart, but they tasted really good. So Ronnie Wilton was really good to tour with. Mike Buff was so entertaining. Two totally different things. Mike was great. Winkle was great. Chris Rothrock, Todd Anderson, Ronnie Wilton. I'm probably forgetting a few people. They were all just Seppi Mays, Craig Grosso. They were just really good, all of them.
That's awesome. Very good. Quality information. I have one more question for you, and you can do whatever you want to after that. But let me say, first of all, thank you for the opportunity. This is a dream come true for me. I can't really put into words how much I appreciate just the opportunity to talk to you and be your friend and be a friend to you. So having the opportunity says that you are human and you're down to earth. You are humble. The fact that you don't admit that says that you are humble. But thank you. We greatly appreciate it. I do have one more question for you, though.
Thank you for saying that.
If I pay all your expenses, would you come to Ohio and have a sleepover with me?
I'm going to need a few more details on that. Well, Dylan's coming with me. He's going to go everywhere with me. I can't hardly think without him anymore. He's controlled. I'm sure we will be by your house at some point.
We do put on our local show in September. I don't know if that's going to happen this year. It's a show, a swap meet, old school thing. And if we could work that out, that's just kind of an extra there. But man, we would, myself and a host of others across the world would love to see that happen. But yeah, maybe that can happen someday. You always have an invite to Cincinnati, Dayton. We love you here, man. We love you.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. And let me just say, it's a true honor to talk to you guys. And you know, I've been out of this for a long time. I've been out of it for a long time. And who do you think's been keeping this sport alive? Can you answer that?
Well, I think I know where you're going with that. It's certainly those who continue on in the fans.
How about you and those guys in that room right there?
Right.
Yeah. So.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yeah, well, that's the truth, man. And then, you know, when I went on Facebook and you guys welcomed me back in, it's cool, man. I look at us all as friends, and I just enjoy everything that transfers between us. And Dylan and Pat and I will definitely be on the road eventually. We're just kind of getting used to all this and figuring it out, you know.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Once again, you have a friend in us. And like I said, there's 12, 13 of us who are going to go on a ride here in just a moment. I have a feeling that we'll be talking about a lot of this. And from all of us to you, thank you very much, brother.
Hey, man, it's my honor to do it. And Pat and Dylan feel the same way about this. Yeah, I hope you guys have a nice ride, and I'll be thinking about you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you.
Hey, thank you for all you guys do, man. We really appreciate it. You guys are awesome.
Mike, I got to tell you, though, when you and Mark were dying the grips, because he's the tall guy, right? He's really tall. You kept calling him?
Generally speaking, in any group, they're the tall guy. Yeah, go ahead.
And you're like, I don't know if this is working. They're not really changing color. And that, while you were saying that, you were just dumping like the whole dye bottle into that thing. Yeah, that was funny. You're a funny guy. I don't know if you know this, but just watching you walk across the yard makes me laugh.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. That's some good stuff.
When you
Your expression, like that one time you go, I hate Mondays. And you posted that picture and some guy goes, oh man, this is bad. This is really bad. That was funny.
It's awesome. Thank you for taking notice. That very humbling to me.
Yeah, you're easy to talk to. You're a good interviewer too.
Yeah, great job.
Can you handle all those compliments all at once? Is that too much?
Well, when no one else gives them, I give them to myself.
Okay.
Learn to appreciate. We need one another, don't we? And as we get older, we learn how much we need one another.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
The day may come when you, once again, need to hit the eject button. If that day comes, so be it. We're enjoying the time that we have with you, and we hold our friendship truly as a gift. And thank you.
Thank you, and just know that we do too, and I do especially. And yeah, I'm just having a great time with you guys. Made a lot of friends.
Very cool.
Okay.
Thank you. We'll turn it over to Dylan.
Okay, man.
All right.
Dylan,
What?
he said you want you on here.
Oh, he does? Okay.
Yeah, it's tech time.
Tech time.
Hey, I gotta tell you guys, man. You guys went about as far, or I went as far as I could on Facebook, and I was struggling with that. And Dylan, all this other stuff, these computers and talking with you and everything. This is Dylan.
Yeah.
I mean,
Big shout out to Dylan.
yeah, man, he's really doing it.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
Great job. It's
And
awesome.
Pat's like my psychiatrist. He helps me through all my problems in the truck. We talk. He gives me good. He gives me good ideas, grounded ideas.
To start a truck series.
Yeah. So, anyways, Mike, thanks for taking the time, and good to see you guys. Say hi to everybody, and here's Dylan.
Thank you. Dylan, I was just wondering what you would have us to do from this point.
I think all you have to do is hang up and then it'll be good. We have it recorded here so I can
Awesome.
upload the video to YouTube and I can share with all you guys.
Thank you, Goodman, and thank you for all your work.
Yeah, of course.
All right, you're invited to the sleepover, by the way.
Perfect. That sounds like
bring our
fun.
What do we have to bring? Sleeping bags, or do we get a bed?
Can
You
we?
will get a bed.
Okay.
Can we?
On the floor, you get a bed.
Can we bring our GI Joes with the Kung Fu grip?
Interview, but yeah.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks, guys.
All right. See you,
have a good
Mike.
one.
That was awesome.
Man, I'm glad you came.
Hey, yeah, me too, man. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Mike's a good guy, man. He's great.
He is.
Fantastic guy.
And when this is all like we're all able to talk, you're going to talk more.
Oh yeah,
You know what I
this
mean?
was
It's
Mike's
just like-
thing, man.
yeah.
This was Mike's thing.
This is
Well,
gonna,